Hey everyone, gear up for a blast from the past with Cheech and Chong's Nice Dreams. This flick from 1981 is the third in the hilarious series, featuring the unforgettable stoner duo Cheech Marin and Tommy Chong. Tommy himself directed this wild ride, packed with their classic, no-holds-barred stoner humour. It's all about their goofy misadventures in the crazy world of cannabis. In the movie, Cheech and Chong are hustling big time, selling some seriously potent marijuana out of what looks like your regular ice cream truck. Talk about a clever cover, right? Grown by a buddy of theirs, their stuff attracts a wild bunch of customers and gets them plenty of unwanted attention too. Dreaming of a chill life in paradise, the duo keeps dodging hilarious hurdles. They bump into some wacky characters like a loopy psychiatrist, a super paranoid cop, and a wacky millionaire with a taste for the absurd. Things turn even crazier when their stash starts causing some totally bizarre transformations. Expect loads of surreal laughs. When it hit the theatres, reactions were all over the place, but it didn't stop Cheech and Chong's Nice Dreams from raking in the cash and becoming a cult classic. Fans of Cheech and Chong got exactly what they were looking for, a wild, episodic joyride with their fave comedy duo. It's now seen as a staple in stoner comedy and a sweet nostalgic trip if you're into 1980s counterculture flicks. Released on June 5th, 1981, Nice Dreams made a cool $35 million at the box office. Nowadays, it's got a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes and scores a 6.1 on IMDb. If you're in the mood for some vintage laughs, you can stream Cheech and Chong's Nice Dreams on platforms like Google Play. Kick back, relax, and enjoy the chaos. Hey horror fans, are you ready to dive back into the classic chills of the 1980s? Let's talk about Final Exam, a 1981 slasher flick directed by Jimmy Houston that's a deep cut from the era's golden age of slashers. It's all about the eerie vibes and those deep, dark scares over the blood and guts. So, the scene is set at Lanier College during the most stressful time of the year, final exams. As students are buried in their books, a mystery killer starts picking them off one by one. It kicks off with a chilling murder at a nearby campus, throwing everyone off balance from the get-go. Our main gal, Courtney, is this super smart, kinda introverted student who suddenly finds herself in the middle of this terrifying nightmare. The tension cranks up as the body count rises, and it all leads to a nail-biting showdown between her and our faceless killer. Now, here's what sets Final Exam apart: the mysterious killer. This guy's a total enigma. No name, no motive. It's like he's a walking, stalking symbol of random violence. Real characters. This isn't just a slice and dice fest. The movie really takes its time to flesh out each of the students, making you actually care about what happens to them. Creepy over gory. If you're more about the chills running down your spine than the splatters of blood, this film's for you. It's all about setting that spooky atmosphere. When it first hit the theatres, let's just say critics weren't exactly stoked. They kind of missed the mark comparing it to other slashers of the time. But guess what? Final Exam has found its tribe. Horror buffs who dig a slow burn terror and a plot that makes you think a bit. It's become this cult gem, appreciated not just for the scares, but for its unusual take on the slasher formula. And yes, for all you collectors, it's available on DVD and Blu-ray. Pop some corn, dim those lights, and get ready for a classic horror night with Final Exam. Trust me, it's a study session you won't forget. Hey, horror fans, have you ever heard of The Unseen? This 1981 flick directed by Danny Steinman is a real skin crawler with its eerie vibes and a storyline that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. It stars the iconic Barbara Buck, alongside Stephen Furst and Sidney Lassick, mixing up psychological suspense with a touch of slasher and creature horror. Here's the scoop. The movie follows three bold TV journalists, Jennifer Fast, Karen and Vicky, who head out to a small town to cover a festival. But when their hotel reservation flops, they end up at the home of this weird museum owner, Ernest Keller. This dude lives in a secluded farmhouse that's harbouring a freaky secret right in the basement. As night creeps in, the trio discovers they're not alone. Something, or rather someone, is lurking down below. They find out it's Keller's son, a deformed and disturbed guy who's been kept out of sight. Creepy, right? The movie really cranks up the terror, trapping you in with its chilling isolation, spooky vibes, and a downright bizarre creature. When it first hit the scenes, The Unseen snagged mixed reviews. Critics dug the spooky setting and Sidney Lassek's creepy performance, but weren't thrilled with the pacing and some story bumps. Still, it's picked up a cult following over the years, especially among those who love a good 80s horror. Not to mention the film's packed with awesome practical effects and a creature that'll give you the chills, spotlighting themes like repression, dark family secrets, and the sheer horror of being isolated. For those who dig a bit of retro horror terror, you might want to check out The Unseen. It dropped back on June 5th, 1981, and while we don't have the box office deets, it's made its mark. And although it's not streaming anywhere for rent, you can catch a fan upload on YouTube. Check the link in the description. So if you're up for a night of frights from the comfort of your couch, why not give The Unseen a go? You might just find your new favourite old-school horror. Hey fantasy buffs and mythology lovers! Let's dive into the epic world of the 1981 classic, Clash of the Titans. Directed by Desmond Davis and packed with the kind of stop-motion magic only the legendary Ray Harryhausen could conjure up, this film is a must-watch for anyone who loves a good adventure. Imagine being the son of Zeus, tossed into the wilds with your mum by your not-so-nice granddad, King Acrisius of Argos. That's Perseus for you. He grows up clueless about his godly dad, but soon finds himself on a wild quest. Picture this, taming a winged horse, duking it out with gruesome monsters, and trying to save Princess Andromeda from becoming Kraken snack food. Yup, it's as cool as it sounds. Cool effects. Alert, Ray Harryhausen's creatures are the real stars. Keep your eyes peeled for Medusa, with snakes for hair and a gaze that turns you to stone. Bubo the mechanical owl. Honestly, he's adorable. The towering Kraken in the big showdown. What's it really about? It's all about heroics, fate, and the messy drama between gods and mortals. It shows how even with gods pulling the strings, human courage can make a real difference. Did people like it? At first, reviews were all over the place, but now it's a cult classic loved for its wild imagination and fantastic adventure. It's got a comfy spot in the hearts of fans, thanks especially to Harryhausen's special effects, wizardry. Legacy and fun facts. It inspired a 2010 remake, but let's be real, the original holds a special place in the realm of mythology movies. Plus, it made a bunch of us fall in love with Greek myths, even if they played fast and loose with the details. Released way back on June 12, 1981, Clash of the Titans raked in a cool $70 million on a tidy $10 million budget. Nowadays, it's rocking a 63% on Rotten Tomatoes and a decent 6.9 on IMDb. Ready to watch or rewatch? You can stream Clash of the Titans on most rental platforms, including Google Play. Dive in and let the adventure begin. Hey everyone, get ready to split your sides with Mel Brooks' hilarious classic, History of the World Part 1. It's a total laugh riot from start to finish, packed with Mel's trademark zany humour and wild parodies of some of history's most famous moments. So, what's the scoop on this flick? Well, it's all about poking fun at the past, served up in bite-sized sketches that'll have you rolling. We kick off in the Stone Age with the discovery of fire and the first ever jam session, then leap to a knee-slapper version of the Old Testament where Moses juggles the 10 Commandments. Next up, ancient Rome. Watch Mel Brooks himself as Comicus, the wisecracking philosopher, dodging trouble and cracking jokes in the heart of the empire, rubbing elbows with none other than Emperor Nero, hilariously played by Dom DeLuise. And you can't miss the Spanish Inquisition. It's a full-blown musical number. Imagine tap dancing monks and swimming nuns. Yup, it's as bonkers as it sounds. Then we wrap things up with the French Revolution, where the peasants are revolting and the jokes are flying. The gang's all here. Madeleine Kahn dazzles as Empress Nympho, Harvey Korman cracks wise as Count de Monet, and Gregory Hines makes a smashing film debut as Josephus. Plus, Cloris Leachman and a bunch of others are in on the fun too. One of the standouts, the Spanish Inquisition number. It's famous for its wild mix of dark humour and jazzy moves. And don't forget the film's title, Part 1. It's a gag with no real sequel ever planned. Until, surprise, History of the World Part 2 dropped on Hulu in 2023. When it first hit theatres back in '81, critics were all over the place, but hey, it's become a cult favourite. People just can't get enough of its cheesy brilliance and those unforgettable one-liners. It's pure Mel Brooks, goofy, clever, and a little bit naughty. History of the World Part 1 is a comedy classic that's still a blast all these years later. It made a cool $31.7 million at the box office and holds up with a decent score on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. Wanna watch? History of the World Part 1 is ready to rock on most streaming rental platforms, including Google Play. Grab your popcorn and get ready for a history lesson like no other. Hey movie buffs, let's throw it back to 1981 with the film that kicked off a whole adventure craze, Raiders of the Lost Ark. This Spielberg-Lucas gem introduced us to the one and only Indiana Jones, played by the ever-charming Harrison Ford. It's not just a movie, folks, it's a massive piece of pop culture. So what's the scoop on this movie? Picture this, it's 1936. The US government pulls Indiana Jones into a race to find the mystical Ark of the Covenant before the Nazis get their hands on it and, well, that would be bad news. Indy's not just dodging his rival, René Belloc, but also evading deadly traps and duking it out with a boatload of Nazis. And who's by his side? Marion Ravenwood, played by Karen Allen, a fiery and capable partner from Indy's past. They're trekking through everything from South American jungles to Egyptian deserts. And who could forget that iconic boulder chase or the face-off against that beast of a Nazi mechanic? Let's jazz it up with some cool facts. Directed by the legendary Steven Spielberg and shaped by the minds of George Lucas and Lawrence Kasdan. The iconic Raiders March by John Williams, total earworm. This flick was a box office smash, pulling in over $330 million and a modest $20 million budget. And guess what? Raiders of the Lost Ark isn't just any film. It's an award-winning powerhouse that snagged 4 Academy Awards and earned a spot in the US National Film Registry. Talk about leaving a mark. Fast forward to now and it's still a fan favourite, holding strong with a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes and an 8.4 on IMDb. Keen to watch or re-watch this classic? It's streaming right now on Disney+. Raiders of the Lost Ark isn't just a film, it's the beginning of an era. Whether you're a lifelong fan or new to the saga, this adventure is timeless. So grab your fedora and let's get adventuring. Hey movie buffs, let's take a wild ride back to 1981 with the Cannonball Run. This isn't just any movie, it's a rowdy, madcap adventure that takes you on an illegal race across the country, from Connecticut all the way to California. Picture this, epic car chases, crazy slapstick, and a bunch of celebs popping up along the way. It's all about fun, chaos, and pedal-to-the-metal excitement. So, what's the deal with the plot, you ask? It's a bunch of wacky racers, each more eccentric than the last, hitting the gas in the Cannonball Baker Sea to Shining Sea Memorial Trophy Dash. They're pulling out all the stops, disguises, gags, and some cheeky cheating to stay ahead. From racers dressed as priests to some posing as paramedics, and even sheikhs, it's an outright riot to dodge the cops and snag that grand prize. And oh, the cast! It's totally stellar. Burt Reynolds lights it up as JJJ McClure, the smooth-talking lead racer. Dom DeLuise cracks you up as Victor Prinzim and his wild alter ego, Captain Chaos. Roger Moore brings laughs with a spoof on his James Bond persona. Farrah Fawcett, the dazzling environmentalist caught in the race mayhem. Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. are in stitches as scheming con men in priest garb. Jackie Chan makes a splash in one of his first Hollywood gigs, driving a gadget-packed Subaru. Adrienne Barbeau and Tara Buckman turn heads and dodge tickets in their get-ups. With Hal Needham at the helm, yup, the stuntman turned director, this movie's got some serious action chops, with stunts galore and a vibe that's just about having a good time. Critics? Well, they weren't too keen, looking for something deep maybe. But who cares when the audience totally dug it? It raked in a whopping $72 million in the US and became a hit at the box office. And it didn't stop there. The Cannonball Run kicked off more fun with a couple of sequels, 1984's Cannonball Run 2 and 1989's Speed Zone. Now a cult classic, this flick is a blast from the past that's all about speed, laughs, and a parade of stars. Catch it streaming free on the Tubi app. Why not rev up some nostalgia and give it a watch tonight? Hey movie buffs, did you love the amazing 1978 hit Superman, the movie? Well, grab some popcorn because the action doesn't stop there. Dive back into the adventure with Superman 2, released in 1981. This epic sequel, initially directed by Richard Donner and later taken over by Richard Lester, brings back Christopher Reeve as our favourite hero Superman, aka Clark Kent. Margot Kidder returns as the plucky Lois Lane, and Gene Hackman reprises his role as the cunning Lex Luthor. Here's the scoop on the plot. Imagine this. Superman faces off against three baddies from Krypton. The ruthless General Zod, played by Terrence Stamp, alongside Ursa, Sarah Douglas, and Non, Jack O'Halloran. These villains, previously banished by Superman's dad, Jor-El, find their way to Earth thanks to a nuclear mishap caused, oops, by Superman himself. Now, with Earth's yellow sun amping up their powers, Zod and his gang want to take over the world. While this craziness unfolds, Clark Kent's got his own drama. Lois Lane is getting super suspicious about who he really is. Plus, he's thinking about hanging up his cape to be with her. Talk of a roller coaster, right? But when Zod starts turning Earth into his own playground, Superman has to step up. It's time for an all-out showdown in Metropolis and the Fortress of Solitude. Now, let's talk behind the scenes because, oh boy, there was some drama. Richard Donner, who was the original director, got the boot over some creative clashes. Richard Lester stepped in, jazzed up the movie with a bit more humour, but hey, it stirred up a mix of feelings. Fans got a treat in 2006 with Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, shedding light on how Donner envisioned the movie. For those who dig a more serious vibe, this one's a must-watch. Critics and fans had a lot to say, but most agree. Superman 2 nailed it with those thrilling fight scenes and some top-notch acting. Terrence Stamp as Zod, total scene stealer with his chilling demand, kneel before Zod. Released on June 19th, 1981, this flick raked in a cool $216 million, a $54 million budget. And it still holds strong today with an 83% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a respectable 6.8 on IMDb. Ready to rewatch or curious to check it out? You can stream Superman 2 right now if you're hooked up with Max, so are you in for a heroic night? Hey movie buffs, ready to dive into some serious fantasy action? Let's talk about Dragonslayer, a dark and thrilling film from 1981. Directed by Matthew Robbins and brought to you by the teams at Paramount Pictures and Walt Disney Productions, this flick was way ahead of its time with some kick-ass special effects. Now, imagine a medieval kingdom under the shadow of a terrifying dragon named Vermithrax Pejorative. This beast is so nasty that the local king has resorted to a lottery to sacrifice young women to keep it happy. Enter Galen Bradwarden, a young sorcerer's apprentice. He's got a big job ahead, slaying this dragon, especially after the kingdom's top wizard bites the dust. Galen's journey is a wild ride of magic, courage, and tricky politics. Plus, he's got some help from Valerian, a tough girl who's been hiding in plain sight to dodge the dragon lottery. Together, they uncover some hard truths about heroism and what it really takes to be a savior. Why is this movie a must-watch? Well, for starters, the dragon in this movie is epic. Thanks to the genius of Phil Tippett and Dennis Moran from Industrial Light and Magic, using something called Go Motion, Vermithrax feels so real, you'll be on the edge of your seat. It's dark, it's gritty, and let's be honest, it's not your typical Disney movie. We're talking complex themes like sacrifice and the messy side of power. And let's not forget that killer soundtrack by Alex North that just oozes epic vibes. Although Dragonslayer wasn't exactly a box office hit, it snagged a couple of Academy Award nominations and has become something of a cult classic. That's right, it's loved by critics and fans alike, rocking an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes and a decent 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb. Oh, and guess what? You can stream Dragonslayer right now on Pluto TV for free. So what are you waiting for? Go check out why Vermithrax Pejorative is one of the baddest dragons ever to hit the silver screen. Hey everyone, have you checked out For Your Eyes Only? It's a classic James Bond flick from 1981, starring the ever-charming Roger Moore. If you're tired of the over-the-top spy shenanigans, you'll appreciate this one. It's got a lot more of a real-world vibe. So here's the scoop. The drama kicks off when a British spy ship sinks, taking with it a top-secret device that can control nuclear subs. Bond's mission? Find that device before the baddies do. Bond's not alone, though. He teams up with Melina Havelock, played by Carol Bouquet. She's tough, she's on a mission to avenge her parents, and she's armed with a deadly crossbow. They dive into a world of smugglers and double-crossers, jetting from Greece to Italy, and even hitting the snowy Alps. Highlights of the movie? You've got some killer ski chases and intense underwater showdowns. And don't miss that jaw-dropping cliff climb. Plus, the theme tune by Sheena Easton. Absolute gold. She even pops up in the title sequence. The baddies are top-notch too. Julian Glover as Christatos gives us some serious villain vibes without going too over the top. People loved the film, and critics dug the more serious tone. It raked in over $195 million. Not too shabby, right? And guess what? You can stream For Your Eyes Only on Pluto TV right now, totally free. So why not give it a watch tonight? Grab some popcorn and settle in for some classic Bond action. It's a must-see for any Bond fan, or hey, anyone who loves a good adrenaline-pumping movie night. Hey Muppet fans, guess what? It's time to dive back into the wacky world with The Great Muppet Caper, a total laugh riot of a movie that hit the screens in 1981. This gem was Jim Henson's first shot at directing, and man did he nail it with every puppet and prop. Here's the lowdown. Our favourite Muppet trio, Kermit, Fozzie and Gonzo, head to London as reporters on the trail of a stolen gem, the fancy schmancy baseball diamond. The jewels owner, none other than chic fashion designer Lady Holiday, played by the fabulous Diana Rigg. But oops, looks like Miss Piggy gets mixed up in the mess when she's mistaken for the high-class designer. As usual, the comedy kicks into high gear when Piggy steps into the spotlight. As Kermit and Miss Piggy's romance blooms, they join forces with the rest of the Muppet crew to uncover the real bad guys, Lady Holiday's no-good brother Nicky and his tricky sidekicks. Packed with goofy gags, musical extravaganza and that signature Muppet mayhem, you'll be in stitches from start to finish. The London setting is a treat, with cameos from the likes of John Cleese and Peter Ustinov popping up in the most unexpected places. And the tunes, get ready to tap your feet to catchy tracks like Hey, a Movie and Happiness Hotel, all whipped up by the talented Joe Raposo. Critics gave it thumbs up back in the day for its charm and chuckles, and it's still a hit with Muppet diehards and newbies alike. With a cool 78% on Rotten Tomatoes and a solid score on IMDb, this flick's a keeper. Feeling nostalgic? You can catch The Great Muppet Caper, streaming on Disney+. Pop some corn and make it a family movie night with the Muppets. Trust me, it's a hoot. Hey thriller enthusiasts, get ready for Road Games, a 1981 Australian classic filled with suspense, dark humour and mind games. Directed by Richard Franklin with a nod to Hitchcock, this film takes you on a thrilling journey, reminiscent of Rear Window, but on the move. Story overview, meet Pat Quid, played by Stacey Keach, an American trucker in Australia navigating the vast Nullarbor Plain. His routine trip-hauling pork turns eerie as he suspects another driver, a van driver, could be a serial killer preying on hitchhikers. Enter Jamie Lee Curtis as Pamela Hitch Rushworth, a gutsy hitchhiker who teams up with Pat to unravel the mystery. Together, they embark on a suspenseful chase across stunning yet haunting landscapes, adding a spine-tingling twist to their road trip. Key highlights. The film expertly balances tension and humour, thanks to Pat's sarcastic inner monologue and his interactions with Pamela. The desolate Australian outback amplifies the suspense, playing a crucial role in the film's atmosphere. Jamie Lee Curtis, though in a shorter role, leaves a lasting impression with her iconic Scream Queen flair. Critical reception. Upon release, Road Games might not have been a blockbuster, but it won over critics and now boasts a cult following with a 92% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a 6.6 on IMDb. Interesting tidbits. Fans of Hitchcock will appreciate director Richard Franklin's homage, as he was an avid admirer and consulted with Hitchcock during his career. The film focuses on psychological tension rather than graphic violence, creating a creepy, thrilling experience. Expect some breathtaking vehicle stunts that keep you glued to your seat. For a mix of laughter and thrills, Road Games is a must-watch. Catch this quirky, suspense-filled classic streaming free on Peacock. Don't miss it. Stripes, a classic comedy on military mishaps. Directed by Ivan Reitman, the 1981 comedy film Stripes stars Bill Murray, Harold Ramis and John Candy. Famous for its humorous take on military life, the film combines sharp dialogue and slapstick humour, becoming a beloved classic that transcends traditional genre boundaries. Plot overview. The story tracks John Winger, Bill Murray, who, after losing his job, apartment and girlfriend in one day, convinces his friend Russell Ziske, Harold Ramis, to enlist in the US Army with him. They hope military life will bring order, but find themselves clashing with the strict Sergeant Hulker, Warren Oates, and bumbling through basic training. Despite their antics, Winger and Ziske prove their worth during a critical European mission, showcasing their quirky effectiveness. Key cast: Bill Murray as John Winger, quick-witted and rebellious. Harold Ramis as Russell Ziske, a smart and subtle strategist. John Candy as Dewey Ox, Oxburger, the lovable, clumsy recruit, Warren Oates as Sergeant Hulker, the tough drill instructor. Legacy and Reception Stripes was a box office hit, grossing over $85 million. It bolstered the careers of its cast and director, leaving a cultural imprint with scenes and quotes still celebrated today. It holds an 88% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a 6.8 on IMDb. The film is available for streaming on platforms like Amazon Prime. In conclusion, Stripes endures as a testament to the comedic potential of unlikely heroes in the military, appreciated for both its humour and its unique take on camaraderie and military life. Hey, horror buffs and B-movie fans! Have you ever checked out the 1981 film Screamers? It's a revamped version of the 1979 Italian sci-fi horror Island of the Fishmen, tailored for US audiences with added horror elements. Let's dive into what sets both versions apart. Original version, Island of the Fishmen, 1979. Directed by Sergio Martino, this film blends fantasy, adventure, and horror. Set in the late 19th century, shipwreck survivors encounter mysterious amphibious creatures on a tropical island, controlled by a mad scientist aiming to unearth sunken treasure. With less gore, it emphasizes adventure and mystery, capturing H.P. Lovecraft's essence. Screamers, 1981, adapted by Roger Corman's New World Pictures, this version amps up the gore and violence to resonate with the early 80s horror scene. It features audacious new marketing, including the promise, "You will actually see a man turned inside out." The focus shifted from adventure to horror. Reception and Legacy Island of the Fishmen was praised for its creativity and practical effects, despite its budget. Screamers received mixed reviews for its inconsistent tone, but still became a cult favourite among B-movie and exploitation cinema enthusiasts. Noteworthy facts. Both films boast innovative creature designs and have achieved cult classic status for their campy appeal and unique genre blend. If you're a fan of quirky, low-budget sci-fi horror films with some monster action, give Screamers a shot. Catch this. Released on June 26, 1981, Screamers garnered over $1 million at the box office, with a 68% Rotten Tomatoes critics score and a 5.2 on IMDb. Ready to watch? Screamers, also known as Island of the Fishmen, is currently streaming for free on the Tubi app.